All right, so today we are going to go through chapter 2 or chapter 4 here, beginning in unit 2, which is all on a safe and productive workplace. Safety is, of course, a primary concern, and it should be your main concern as an employee to make sure that you are working in safe environment, working under safe conditions, and working safely. Um, Being aware of all of the things that you need to know that is surrounding you so that you can work safe. So we're going to go over some of the safety practices and some of the commonalities behind manufacturing practices here today. So first off, we want to talk about some of the regulatory agencies that are have a hand in making sure that the American workers are protected and safe. OSHA is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. They are part of a federal agency that was signed into law by Congress in the early 1970s. They help to protect workers' rights. Now, they don't, and they kind of enforce this, but the way they do that is through a set of standards that are part of documentation that employers must follow and must make sure that all of their employees are going through and receiving as well. So we have NEOSH, which is the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. So they oftentimes are responsible for doing different types of testing on products or actual testing on PPE and safety equipment, and just making sure that other types of standards for the way some of that safety equipment is made and used is also applied. And then, of course, we have the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, which is, of course, there to guarantee that employers and industry is protecting the environment as well. Now, let's talk about some of the employer responsibilities. So, employers are responsible for training. They're responsible for the safety equipment. They're responsible to communicate hazards and make you aware of those hazards in the workplace. If a worker gets hurt on the job, there is workers' compensation, where employers and through the workers' compensation insurance do provide financial aid to those workers. And then, of course, employers also have the responsibility of reporting those accidents. Now, those are the employer's responsibilities. Workers have responsibilities as well to make sure that they know, understand, and follow company procedures and that they are working in a safe manner as well. In terms of the health and safety controls, we're going to talk about the elimination or substitution of different types of controls. We're referred to engineering controls, warnings and warning labels, training and administrative controls, and of course PPE that is used as well. When we talk about safety orientation and training, workers on the job for less than 1 year are 40% more likely to be injured. So it is a responsibility for employers to make sure that they teach workers about first aid and first medical response, the alarms and emergency procedures of the factory or the workplace, work area inspections, workplace hazards, and of course the health and safety and standards. There are usually safety committees at your larger companies, and even usually safety committees or representatives at smaller manufacturing companies as well. This is typically a group of frontline workers and the managers that are looking for ways to make sure to improve safety. A safety representative is a person who helps improve safety in the workplace. Now, for most of these companies, they do, if they are a large enough company, they probably have a whole safety department in and of itself. Smaller companies usually do kind of look more towards these safety committees and smaller groups. There are safety inspections that should be done on a regular basis. These inspections can focus either on workstation or the department. They do require knowledge of the OSHA regulations, so that's one of the reasons why we have the OSHA class here for students to be familiar with. So there are generally checklists that are provided, And then, of course, any findings that might come up would also be documented and kept as recorded information for the company as well. A hazard analysis is sometimes also called a job safety analysis, or JSA, or job hazard analysis, a JHA. So this is a process where the process of hazard is broken down into individual steps. Each step is reviewed. So hazard controls are evaluated. Those are also then incorporated into an SOP for the company, and then, of course, those are monitored on a regular basis. Of course, if there are any issues that might arise, the SOP might need to be reviewed and changed and modified to meet current standards as new processes or new procedures, new machines and equipment come into play. We do correct those hazards, so we try to correct it fairly quickly, because if it's not corrected quickly, then sometimes these safety efforts are wasted. And there is a hazard control hierarchy that we will also be talking about. Environmental inspections. So anything that causes air, ground, or water pollution would fall under the guise of the EPA. So we do follow many of the same techniques as with safety inspections. And of course, complete and accurate records are needing to be kept in place. So that record keeping is critical, especially if a company gets audited or is asked to show information if they would have a leak or some other thing happen that would kind of cause problems to the environment in a local area. Now, here is how you can best be involved. So, obviously, the best ideas are coming from the people who are actually doing the physical work and the physical labor. So, don't be afraid to get out and voice your opinion, and let your managers, let the supervisors, let management know when you have some concerns. So, take part and join those safety inspections. The laws protect workers who report safety, health, and environmental problems. So workers are basically the eyes and ears for safety and environmental protection. So you do have the rights to report incidents, rights to report accidents, and you have protections that are put in place to protect you from any type of repercussion there as well. When we go into personal protective equipment, so we've talked about some of this, and of course all of our classes will go over the requirements of the PPE that is in the class. So employers must provide eye protection, ear protection, head protection, hand and arm protection, foot protection, and lung protection in those cases where employees would be subjected to environments that are harsh that would also cause problems in that regard. Fire safety and fire prevention is important. So a lot of companies will prohibit the use of cigarettes or lighters in open flames. They might only allow those in certain areas, if allowed at all. Spills of flammable materials need to be cleaned up, and cleaned up right away. So obviously ventilation is important, so is storage and the disposal of rags, grease, and solvents to help prevent fires from occurring on the factory and shop floor. There is a proper manner to store containers and mark those containers as well. OSHA does require a certain marking on containers so that the whatever the product is inside can be identified. So we do need to monitor sparkable tools and equipment. Their grounding techniques as far as the electronics and anything dealing with electricity. Disposing of scraps and rubbish can also be very, very important, especially in areas where you get a lot of chips or sawdust or other types of debris that is prone to catch fire. And we do need to monitor heat producing equipment. And then, of course, we can talk a lot. There are oxidizers and peroxides that also need to be taken care of and paid attention to in the way that they're stored and used to help prevent fires as well. There is a electrostatic discharge. That's a transfer of electric charge from between two objects. So kind of think about your static electricity. If you rub your feet in the wintertime on a carpet and then go up and touch your partner or touch the student next to you, you give them a shock. That's electrostatic discharge. This occurs in other things in industry as well. So, in those tiny sparks in the wrong environment can cause a fire or even an explosion. So, we do want to be aware of the ground of different items for that path.